We know it's important to stay hydrated and that 8 glasses of water per day is recommended. Though for many of us, that's easier said than done. That's why more Australians are making Hydrolite part of their daily rehydration routine. Hydrolite is scientifically formulated to rapidly rehydrate faster than water alone, with products suitable for every member of the family, so you can embrace life's everyday moments. You'll find the Hydrolite range for a great price every day at Chemist Warehouse.
It's a glorious night in Melbourne and we're not too far away from the inaugural Maurie plant meet at Lakeside Stadium. A big night for Australian athletics as we remember some of the champions of the past on the track, Peter Norman and John Landy, and Maurie Plant off the track. The old gang is back, Tamza Manu and Dave Colbert. And Dave, I've got to start by saying only Maurie would wear a shirt like that.
And it's the only reason why I'm wearing a shirt like this, to pay homage to the great man who, of course, patrolled the mix zone. This is where Maurie would be. He'd be running around, bellowing instructions at everybody, worried about the breeze. We've got a great night. And Maurie, this is for you, great man, and this shirt.
Go and pick your notes up, go, and that's what he'd say. Now, what do I mean when I say it's a continental gold meeting, Dave?
Well, Diamond League's the top tier. Next tier is Continental Gold. We've never had one in Australia. A lot of world ranking points, which is crucial for our athletes. So the fact that we are now on that series and part of that world circuit's crucial, Tamsin, for athletes who want to get to the World Championships in Budapest.
It's so crucial, Bruce, because what happens is our athletes, some of them can't afford to go overseas and chase these points. So this is a really good starting point for them to get those points and hopefully make an Australian team for the World Championships later in Hungary.
And there's money up for grabs tonight?
There is, over $200,000, so pretty good
How much?
money. $200,000!
Okay, I'm making a comeback. Long jumps on later. I'll be back.
Well, what was the stall gift work in the last century? Richo, pray tell, where are you?
I'm out the front paying homage to an absolute great of Australian track and field, in fact Australian sport, in Peter Norman, and we're paying tribute to Maurie Plant tonight. And everyone in Australian athletics idolised this guy, a silver medalist in 1968 in the 200 metres, and the Peter Norman 200 metres tonight might just be taken out by the great Fred Curley. Won't it be incredible to see the fastest man in the world racing here in Australia? Oh, he was something special, Peter Norman. What he did on the track, but also what he did on that podium. It was a moment Australian sport and world sport will never forget.
Here, Rita. By the way, you do look sharp. you do look sharp.
No wonder we spent so much time talking about what we were wearing during the week.
Where are you starting tonight, Dave? Who are the couple of athletes you're really looking forward to seeing?
Well, there's a number of athletes in the field that are coming in hot, and I think the one that I'm really looking forward to is Tara Davis-Woodhall in the long jump, up against our own Brooke Bushkuhl. Tara Davis jumped 7:14 as her personal best. Longest jump in the world last year was in the competition that Brooke jumped her personal best and Australian record. 6th at the Tokyo Olympics, but for me, Bruce, the most important thing is that she jumped 6:99 indoors to win the US Championship just 2 weeks ago. So she's in great form up against our own Brooke Bushkuhl. In the women's high jump, Nicola Ollischlager's currently at the back taking notes, as we know, busily writing things down. Tremendous, equal Australian record at 2:02, Olympic silver medalist. She can break the Australian record tonight. She was close in Canberra, had a couple of really good attempts at 2:03. So she's in great form. It's up here she has to jump, and she can do it tonight.
What have you got for us, Richo?
Well, it's right here at the 200 metres, Bruce, where all the action will be, and I'm no doubt you'll be talking all about Fred Curley versus Rowan Browning. But I want to actually talk about the women's race, and it's going to be red hot. Remember Riley Day, this young teenager who raced Usain Bolt down here in Nitro and then made an Olympic semi-finalist. She's been injured ever since Tokyo. She comes back to Australian track and field tonight, and in her way, Ella Connolly, who's been winning all before her while she hasn't been here. Bree Masters is in great touch. And then Tori Lewis, maybe the fastest T. Lewis we've ever seen. This young gun is going to be worth watching. Tamsin.
Richo, thank you for that. No, well, I think there's so much athletic royalty on the track. It's hard to pick one, but I'm going to go with an Olympic gold medalist. Anytime you have an Olympic gold medalist in your backyard is pretty special. And we have Matthew Centrowitz. He won the 1,500 metres at that Rio Olympics, and he was very special. He is aiming to go to his 4th Olympics representing the USA, and I think he can do it. He said in the press conference earlier this week that 33 is the new 23, so let's see how he goes in that John Landy mile. Bruce, who are you looking at?
I'm going to the top, I reckon. I'm going for the showstopper, Fred Curley. It's only the 3rd time we've had the reigning 100-metre world champion male run in this country. We've had Bolton Green before him. He goes in the 200 tonight, but he's one of 3 men that has broken 10 seconds for 100, 20 for 200, 44 seconds for 400. Michael Johnson and Wade Van Niekerk are the other 2. He's in great company. He could be anything. He already is. He's special. And what about Rowan Browning? So Rowan has dominated the local scene in the last 2 or 3 years. I don't think he will tonight. I think he'll really have a battle in the 100. That's good. And I think in the 200, I want to see him. I want to see him run faster than 20.71. He will with Fred tonight. And I want to see him do 2 hard races in the one night. I think he's in really, really good shape. So they're the ones I'm looking forward to seeing. Sally Pearson is here tonight. Sal, do you want to come over and just join us for a second? The one and only, the one and only. We are in real royalty here, aren't we? Come in here, Sal. Sal, I want to start with Maurie because he was near and dear to you, wasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly was. He was a friend first. He was a huge supporter of the sport, of the athletes. He was there when they needed him. He was loud. He was obnoxious. He was funny. He was caring. He was everything that you wanted someone to be when you needed him to be there.
The women's hurdles tonight, it could be pretty quick, I think. We've got Jenica and Maurie are both flying. They've both gone indoors, haven't they? Maurie for not as long as Jenica, but back they come here tonight in these conditions?
Yes, I think it's really important for particularly sprinters to go over and really match it with the best in the world. So you're going to have 2 hurdlers here tonight who are both run sub 13 seconds, which, you know, is a pretty hard thing to do, especially for Australian athletes, particularly with Michelle, who's run a 12.68, I believe, last year at the World Championships and Commonwealth Games. Maurie, who has run a 12.7 windy in, I think it was Mackay last year. So you're going to have 2 very fierce competitors coming in from the indoor season where they've been running against the best in the world to come here on a beautiful night of sprinting tonight. Like, you can't ask for much more than the heat, the wind and the sun to all mesh together and make some fast times.
And you won the 200 here one year, Sal, so you know how much pain and suffering Rowan Browning's going to be feeling as he comes down the stretch.
He certainly did, but he didn't run the 100 or the hurdles beforehand, so I think he's going to be all right. But that is going to be a very exciting matchup with him and Fred. Can't wait to see it. It's always exciting with the men's sprints.
Now, Sally, tell us what you're up to these days. You've got 2 children now. How's the juggle of that, being a mother, as compared to being an athlete on the track?
It's certainly hard. You have to keep your fitness up, Tamsin, as you would understand. You've got wild children on the loose. They're very difficult, but they're fun. They're enjoyable. You know, you're working with 7, you work with 2 children, and you're also coaching as well. And then trying to be a wife and just have life.
Well, put it all behind you tonight. Enjoy, as you will, the one and only Sally Pearson. We better get going. We're about a minute away from the Maurie plant meet. Can't wait.
Important to stay hydrated, and that 8 glasses of water per day is recommended. Though for many of us, that's easier said than done. That's why more Australians are making Hydrolite part of their daily rehydration routine. Hydrolite is scientifically formulated to rapidly rehydrate faster than water alone, with products suitable for every member of the family, so you can embrace life's everyday moments. You'll find the Hydrolite range for a great price every day at Chemist Warehouse.
it's fair to say that Melbourne is the major events capital of Australia and also Victoria, the state capital, with all the cultural and sporting events that take place and some of the stunning wildlife and scenery that we see here. Innovation and creation, and tonight the Maurie plant meet, named after a man who could get an athlete a lane in Europe when it mattered most, could make a difference to somebody, could turn them from good to great. And Maurie tonight is honoured with the Maurie plant meet. It's a continental gold meeting. That means that it's at the second highest level. There are only 14 of these around the world. The Diamond League sits above, and this is the first time we've had such a meet here. And it's part of the Chemist Warehouse Summer Series here in Australia. A terrific crowd. David Colbert and Tamsin Lewis, you would have seen them a moment ago. They're back with us. We've seen some good sprinting already. It's the perfect night, I think, don't you?
Bruce, it is the perfect night. It's the perfect evening for a great night of athletics. We have great fields and the weather. Melbourne has turned it on. It's perfect.
And we're remembering not just Maurie, and I don't say not just Maurie, I say that respectfully tonight, Dave, because there are a couple of other greats from on the track that are being remembered here this evening.
Of course, we lost John Landy, our great miler, the Olympic bronze medalist from 1956, former Victorian governor, so it's the late John Landy mile tonight, and of course the Peter Norman 200 as well. And if I could just say about Maurie, I'm one of those. I wouldn't have made the Olympic final. I wouldn't have got to know Mike Powell. I wouldn't have been in that epic World Championships if it wasn't for Maurie Plant. So there's a lot of athletes here tonight that have been touched by Maurie, and it's why the athletes have come from all over the world. The best Australians are here. And Maurie, yes, that is Lakeside. The sun is shining and the wind is benign. It's a miracle, and we thank you.
He's looking down. So great crowds here. So what have we got in store tonight? It really is a wonderfully balanced program, starting with the John Landy men's mile, that women's long jump. What a couple of stars we have there. It'll be fast the hurdle. Sally Pearson's here tonight to be watching on. Women's 100, so even. The Peter Norman men's 200 with Fred Curley there against a bevy of Australians, including Rowan Browning. Ollie Schlager's in the women's high jump, already at 198 this year. The women's 3000, Lyndon Hall, really interested to see her there. The men's long jump. Leave that to Dave. I'm not going to say a word. And then later in the night, we've got the hundreds for men, for the men at the end of the night, and the 1500 for women. So we start with the John Landy mile. So it was actually February the 24th, 2022 that John passed away. So 12 months to the day tomorrow that the great John Landy, the first Australian, the second man ever to break the 4-minute mile when he did it in Turku, not that long after Roger Bannister. And then, of course, they went on to Vancouver in the race of the century in the mile. So let's have a look at the lineup for our opening mile event for the night. And it's strong, as you would imagine. Ollie Hoare's there, the Australian record holder. Well, Jared Clifford, Dave will tell you about him in a moment. Jude Thomas has been an Australian champion at 3. Sam Tanner's in cracking form. And then Ollie. Ryan Gregson's back. Kasey comes down from the World Cross Country. Centrovich is the Olympic champion from 2016, with the first American in over 100 years to win the 1500 metres. Matthew Ramsden recovering from injury, and Cameron Myers at 16 years of age has run 3:40 and could dip inside, yes, could it dip inside a magical mark.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing your field in the John Landy mile, named in honour of the 1956 Olympic bronze medalist and former governor of Victoria. Here are some of our featured athletes. On the outside, position 13, the Australian under-18 1500 metre record holder at just 16 years of age from the ACT, Cameron Myers. In position 10, World Championship and Commonwealth Games representative from Western Australia, Matt Ramsden. Starting in position 9, two-time World Championship representative and medalist, Rio Olympic Games 1500 metre gold medalist from the USA, Matt Centrowitz. Starting in position 7, Rio Olympic Games 1500 metre finalist, a welcome return to the track for the Little King, Ryan Gregson. In position 6, the Australian mile record holder, Olympic finalist, member of the World Cross Country bronze medal winning relay team, the Commonwealth Games gold medalist in the 1500 metres from New South Wales, Ollie Hoare. In position 4, sixth in the Commonwealth Games 1500 metres from New Zealand, Sam Tanner. And on the inside in position 2, two-time para-athletics world champion, a Paralympic Games silver medalist, aiming to be the first visually impaired runner to run sub 4 minutes for the mile, from Victoria, Jared Clifford. 14 starters, John Landy, mile.
Good stuff, Dave. They toe the line, they're about to go. So Tamsin, the pace, what do you think they'll be aiming at here?
They're going to go for 156 through 809 metres, and Wolfgang, who was last running out here as a schoolboy in his Wesley colours, is taking the lead there, and what quality he's got behind him. And you can see that Ollie Hoare has gone straight behind him, and he wants this pace on because you've got quality in this field, left, right and centre. They want to go sub 4, but it's just how far under 4 minutes they can go.
So Kasay starts to move up. So the pacemaker, Wolfgang in front. So Hoare's in a good spot early. There's Kasay. So he comes off that world cross country. He was impressive there along with all the Ethiopians. Tanner's a man to watch, Tamsin. So he sits in 4th place behind them. And then Davies behind him. Look at young Myers, the 16-year-old. So he's in 6th position at the moment with the orange vest on.
Yeah, 16 years of age. He ran his personal best at Box Hill in January. He broke Ryan Gregson's national under-18 record in that race, and Ryan's in this field. So it's exciting to see how Ryan's going to go on his comeback. But take a look at the Olympic champion. Matt Centrowitz is right at the back. He's a fabulous tactician. He knows where to be when the business end of the race is on. But, you know, he's just getting over that ACL injury where he had a knee operation last year. He says 33's the new 23. Let's see what he can do.
He didn't win that Olympic gold medal from that position, did he? It was the slowest race in so many years, but what a tactical genius he turned out to be. So we can see the pace. Hoare's perfectly placed. He wants to dominate the race. Kasay, Tanner, and then Ramsden. It's great to see Ramsden back because he couldn't run at Bathurst on the weekend.
No, he had 2 10-centimetre tears in his calf. So he's come back. He thought the course at Bathurst was a little bit dangerous for those calves to see how they could handle that terrain. But it's going to be interesting to see how the athletes who did tackle that terrain, in Ollie Hoare and Kasay, who were in the mixed relay. Kasay, of course, got the silver medal there, and Ollie Hoare was part of our bronze medal team in that mixed relay.
So that lap was 57.9, slightly faster. So Jared Clifford with the cap on. He's 3 from the main back. So Dave talked about the fact that he may break 4 minutes here. That's a quest for him. And for Cameron Myers, Dave, for him, if he were to break 4 minutes here, that would be something at 16 years of age.
Well, extraordinary. Only Jakob Ingebrigtsen has done it. So it'll be a big run. First time we've seen him run at this level, and what an opportunity it is for the youngster.
And he's moving. He's moved wide there, and he's got himself into 4th position. It's fabulous to see a 16-year-old's not afraid of taking it to athletes with better CVs than he's got at this moment.
So Ollie's been prepared to do a lot of the work here. He was the first man to go to the pace. Kasay sits 2nd, Tanner 3rd, Myers 4th, and then Ramsden tucked in behind him. And then Davies, Clifford still off the back there. So 1 lap to go. Hoare, who famously ran down 2 world champions to win in Birmingham. It was something, wasn't it, to take Bayes' record at the same time. And now he starts to accelerate. Kasay stays with him at 19 years of age. And then Tanner is going to fancy his chances here. So it's Hoare, Kasay, Tanner. It's Australia, Ethiopia, New Zealand in the back straight.
And all 3 of these athletes did run that mixed relay. Tanner's made his move. He's gone past Kasay. The former surfer from New Zealand is running for Ollie Hoare. But Ollie Hoare, can he respond? I think he can.
Respond he does with 200 to go. He leads by 3 or 4 metres. So the Australian all-comers record, 350.61. They're not going to do that, you would not think, but it's going to be quick. So Hoare leads 5-6 metres at the moment from Tanner. A gap to Kasay. Myers is still hanging on here, the youngster. The time's going to be oh so important. It's ticking over now. So the Commonwealth champion is going to make a mark here at Lakeside and runs about 3:52. It's quick. Tanner, look at Myers. Unbelievable. Have a look at at this. He'll be the second youngest ever to break 4 minutes.
Oh, wow. What a run by Ollie Hoare. It's fabulous to see him back out here and in great shape. But Cameron Myers, I think he has just run about 3:56, which is just incredible for a 16-year-old.
Fastest time ever by a 16-year-old is Jakob Ingebrigtsen in Oslo in 2017, 3:56.29. 3:56.29. He's not going to be too far away from that. That was a withering finish. Great run from Ollie Hoare. Cameron Myers, thank you. We're going to remember the day you ran here and did that for a long time.
Well, Ollie was superb, wasn't he? Because he did everything right. He made the commitment a long way out. Tanner chased so hard, but the youngster was oh so impressive. Hoare stretching away now as we see down the back straight. Tanner trying to go with him, and then Myers with this finishing burst. It was quite extraordinary. We're going to check all these times in a moment, but unofficially for Hoare, it's a 3:52.24. Tanner's going to come in at around the 3:54, 3:55. Richo, well, you've been here before with Ollie, haven't you?
Our John Landy mile winner is Oliver Hoare. And Ollie, brilliant to see you again, mate. And you made a big statement after the World Cross.
Yeah, no, it's been a big couple of weeks. 350 mile in New York indoors. Bronze medalist for Australia in that mixed relay in Bathurst the next week. And then this week, Melbourne, John Landy winner. Yeah, big couple of weeks. Really proud to be back in Australia racing, competing, and seeing all these fans turning up to watch athletics. You know, it means a lot to me. Just seeing it in America and Europe, and just seeing this, it's amazing. It's a dream come true.
And it's on the back of brilliant athletes, mate. It's on the back of the likes of you. They're giving so much into the sport, because it would have been easy to go home, but it was important for you to be here.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I've been very fortunate enough in my career to help out the US system, the European circuit with the Diamond League. And the one thing I talked about with my coach, no matter how hard the travel is, we want to come back to Australia and inspire kids to stay in athletics, to enjoy it and enjoy competing and being one of the best countries in the world doing it. So for me, yeah, it was a no-brainer.
You're getting a very significant trophy here, mate. Congratulations, the one and only Ollie Hoare.
That was Vin Plant-Murray's brother there, a great hurdler in his own right, Vin, presenting the trophy there. So, Dave, yesterday at Geelong we had the beginning of the meet, and it was high-quality discus throwing from the men.
Men's discus, John Landy Field was the venue, so fitting that this field of discus throwers came into the circle, and this is the 25-year-old from South Australia. Lachlan Page, he was in third spot. Matt Denny, the Commonwealth champion, 62.73. 6th at the World Championships, and of course 4th in Tokyo. Didn't have the best day, the big man. He was in 2nd place with his best throw. And this man, Connor Bell, the 21-year-old from New Zealand, a personal best, a New Zealand record of 66.14. So that was a great result for Connor Bell. So it was Bell from New Zealand, Denny from Australia, Page from Australia in the men's discus.
Good stuff, Dave. So the hurdle's about to start. The times, Ollie Hoare 3:52.24, Sam Tanner 3:53.83. Wait for this, 16-year-old Cameron Myers 3:55.44 after our opening event. Ollie Hoare, Sam Tanner and Cameron Myers, spectacular.
Absolutely, and just behind that, fastest ever. Let's introduce the field for the women's 100-metre hurdles. In lane 2, from New South Wales, Emily Britton. In lane 3, two-time national indoor champion from Northern Ireland, Megan Mars. In lane 4, two-time World University Games finalist from New South Wales, Abby Tadeo. In lane 5, 3 times Commonwealth Games finalist, World Championship semi-finalist, and the number 2 Australian of all time, with a personal best of 12.66 from New South Wales, Michelle Jenica. In lane 6, Commonwealth Games finalist from Victoria, Celeste Mucci. In lane 7, Japanese national champion and bronze medalist from Japan, Yumi Tanaka. In lane 8, Commonwealth Games heptathlon representative from Queensland, Tennille Crace. And in lane 9, World Championship representative from Switzerland, Alina Threi. There is your lineup, ladies and gentlemen. Women's 100-metre hurdles.
So, Tamsin, where are we looking here?
Oh, I don't think you can go past Jenica in lane 5. She had a fantastic 2022 season where she made the semi-finals at the World Championships in Oregon and ran that personal best 12.66, and then made the final of the Commonwealth Games where she finished 5th. And then alongside her, Maurie was a heptathlete, has moved into these hurdles and made that final also in the Commonwealth Games. So it'll probably be a race in 2, but you can't discount Tadeo, who at 29 years of age, she has a 13.02 and we're wanting to break 13 seconds for the first time.
So 3 of the top 10 all-time in this race. Jenica at 2, Maurie at 6 and Tadeo at 10. Sally Pearson's with us tonight at 12.28, a remarkable run at the world titles, and when Sally was the queen, the king, whatever you want to call her, of the hurdles around the world. What a reign it was. There's Jenica. She's come back so well.
She's come back really well. I think people lost sight of the fact that she's such a quality athlete. She's had some really tough injuries. She grew up playing soccer with the boys. She's a tough athlete.
Familiar sight, that, isn't it? The dancing that we saw at the World Junior Championships. At this point in time, Bruce, Maurie would say, Reg, start the race.
Reg, wherever you are, it's yours. So middle lanes, Maurie outside, closest to us with Jenica and Tadeo. It's a good field. Jenica got a great start, led Maurie clearly to the first. Tadeo behind there. Michelle's up for a fast one. Maurie's speed is oh so good, closing the gap. Jenica in front. Oh, Maurie knocks the second last down, and Jenica gets through and wins it under 12.80. And for Maurie, it was not what she wanted tonight, but boy, her speed through halfway was impressive.
Well, Jenica was fabulous. Her lead leg just snapped down off that hurdle. She was able to drive off the hurdle and get her stride pattern right, because Celeste just missed that start a little bit. You can see the back end, Celeste. You see that reaction of Jenica. She was really fast out. In contrast, Celeste was back, and so she had to work hard, and because she's got that fabulous speed, by working hard, she just pushed and she got a little bit close to that 8th hurdle, clipped it, and then couldn't recover. I think at this point of the season, the main thing is that she gets back up and she's okay, she's uninjured, but a fabulous run for Jenica.
So Tanaka gets through for second from Japan, and Emily Britton gets through for third, and her season's best of 13.49 could be in danger. Terrific run by Michelle.
Saw the benefit there of that indoor trip. You've run 60-metre indoors, you've got to be starting on the B of the bang, as Linford Christie used to say, and I think Shelley there might have got out just a fraction before the B. It was fast. Thumbs up indeed, Shelley. Well done.
So the women's hurdles, it was a good win. So earlier tonight, we saw the men's ambulance race. It was a high-quality affair, Tamsin and Dave. Chad Pearce has been in sparkling form this season. He went 10.8 and then 10.65 to take the record off Evan O'Hanlon. So the White Tigers in the middle here, and let's have a look. So he gets a good start, Pearce, clearly in front of O'Hanlon early. Page was really good, so he's 3 from the left, but Pearce is clear. Page trying to eat into that margin, can't quite, and it was Pearce clearly from Page and Woodall.
Yeah, Chad Pearce ran a fantastic race there. He's been in great shape. He's ran his personal best, but Page, the 18-year-old, also ran well. We have to notice that the classifications are all different. You watch here, you can tell Chad really worked hard on that drive phase. He got out fast, and he did really well through the middle phases. He's got his leg speed going fantastic. And on the inside of him, we have our USA visitor, Woodhall, who also is a Paralympic medalist, and he looks like he's got his campaign for 2023 underway well.
I have to say I'm a little bit concerned about Chad. He seems to be running a little too fast with stall on the horizon. He's been running fantastic as we look at the results in the 100 hurdles.
So it's 12.75. It's a good run for Michelle at this time of the year. She'll go quicker than that. Tanaka at 13.24 and Britton at 13.29. Maurie, well, she's got a lot to offer. Talked about Sal Pearson a moment ago, so she's here tonight, the great one.
Well, what can you say about the big man, Maurie Plant? He is a friend first. He was always there when you needed him. He was a joker, someone to laugh with, and he was a shoulder to cry on whenever you needed it. He always had your back. He always made you feel welcome, and he always made you feel like you were special.
From the heart, isn't it? And Sal knows oh so well. Maurie was there for the whole journey with Sally. World indoor, world outdoor twice, Olympic champion. So, David, the women's long jump, you talked about it at the start of the night, how exciting it is.
Yeah, really looking forward to watching the action there. Good conditions down the back straight. Really good conditions, actually. And it can be a little tricky here at Lakeside Stadium, but with this field, Bushkuhl, that world lead last year of 7:13, Tara Davis-Woodhall, we just saw her husband Hunter run. We'll come back to that as we get ready to introduce the field in the women's 100.
And those middle lanes are exciting. Masters look good in Adelaide. Lane was the early front runner. Lewis, the youngster. Connolly, a couple of very fast windies. Nara Nang into a headwind, outstanding. And Hannah Bassick, we know what she can do, and she's coming back. So it's a lineup that looks oh so good and oh so even on paper, doesn't it?
Well, you know, at the Commonwealth Games, our women came together and they got that 4th spot. Riley Day wasn't in that team. We have a lot of talent.
You're talking about the relay?
The 4x100 relay in the Commonwealth Games where they finished 4th. They have a lot of talent. There's so much depth, and that's what's making our women's sprinters get faster and faster. I think it won't be long till we see them push down to those 11.1s again and really start to fly.
So, Dave, the depth here is interesting. So 6 under 11.40, and those times have all been done by all 6 in the last couple of years.
Been a big resurgence in the women's 100, led by Hannah Bassick and what she did to get to Tokyo. But there's been some impressive sprinting, and they're racing against each other. And Bree Masters there, Tori Lewis, Ebony Lane, twice a Stall gift finalist, Ella Connolly. You know, they're good names that are coming through, and they're on the rise, and that's the most important thing.
Ella Connolly, our double national champion in the 100 and 200. She's a triple threat in sprints. She can also run really fast in that 400 metres as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing your field in the women's 100 metres. In lane 2, part of the New Zealand national record relay team, Livy Wilson. In lane 3, twice a Stall gift finalist from Victoria, Ebony Lane. In lane 4, World Championships representative and Commonwealth Games semi-finalist from Queensland, Bree Masters. In lane 5, the Australian under-16 record holder, now 18 years of age, from Queensland, Tori Lewis. In lane 6, the Australian 100-metre champion, World Championships and Commonwealth Games representative from Queensland, Ella Connolly. In lane 7, Rio Olympian in the long jump, 2019 Australian champion in the 100 metres, now doing a dance as well, from Queensland, Anang. In lane 8, Rio Olympian and 2021 Australian 100-metre champion from Victoria, Hannah Bassick. And in lane 9, a welcome return to the sport for the 2014 Youth Olympic Games 100-metre bronze medalist and 2016 World Championships in the juniors rep. It's been a long time, but she's back. From Victoria now, Sam Geddes. The lineup, women's 100 metres.
Good stuff, Dave. Where are you looking, Tamsin?
Well, there's talent left, right and centre. I think we're looking in all the lanes, but there's going to be some interesting stories told after this. Ella Connolly, you can't discount her. Na Nang's coming back, and she's coming back with a vengeance. And Tori Lewis, the junior who missed those World Junior Championships, is back.
Great crowd here. Just a last breath or two, concentration. Ella adept at the 200 as well as the one. Nah, incredible long jump season she had when she got over 680, and now sprinting so brilliantly. Lewis so full of promise. Masters so impressive last year. She'd been away from the sport for a while. Start important, isn't it? Who can assert themselves early here? So clean start. Conley got a good start. Leads Lewis early. Anang's right with him from Masters. Conley a shade up on Anang. Not much in it. Nah might be just in front. She is. Anang beats Conley, Masters and Lewis. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that time into a headwind. That is super, super quick, everybody. 11.22. And now Anang right over the top.
Wow, what a brilliant run. There was a lot happening in that race. Tori Lewis popped right up and Ella Connolly looked like she had the race home and hose. Watch this, watch Tori pop up just that little bit too quickly, so she didn't do her drive phase. Na Nang had a great drive phase. She's almost out in front at the start, but then Ella Connolly came through her. Look at the relaxation that Na has here in the back end of that race. She was running away with that fabulous run, Na Nang, and a personal best.
Well, there'll be some PBs. Lewis closed, didn't she, in fourth placing? And then Conley and Masters oh so good. Lane not far away. And Lewis's closing speed was impressive. But and then put the writing on the wall, Dave. You were calling in Adelaide into that headwind, didn't she?
Magnificent run. 6th fastest all time by an Australian. Just behind Raylene Boyle. That's a big run.
Boylie's watching tonight up in Queensland. Chatted to her just before the meet. She was looking forward to it.
Goes just past Kathy Freeman. What a great run.
So, great stuff there on the track. And Dave, the quality, we talked about the discus earlier. That was yesterday, but earlier tonight we saw a high-quality women's hammer.
Excellent women's hammer throw earlier this evening, throwing the 4-kilogram orb. Alex Hulley from Australia was in 4th spot, season's best, 65.15, but this is Lauren Bruce from New Zealand. It's been in good form. The 25-year-old does hold the Oceania record. New Zealand champion. She launched at 65.45. What an athlete. Irina Klimets of Ukraine. Yep, Ukraine. Took 48 hours to get here. Has been training in very difficult circumstances back home. Great to have her here. 67.78 in 2nd spot. And the winner, well, it was a bit of a surprise. The French woman, Rose Loga, the 20-year-old. 2nd at the World Junior Championships. 3rd at the French Nationals. But she threw a meet record of 69.31 to get 1st place here. Big points, huge ranking points for them, and that is a big win for the 20-year-old from France.
Good stuff, Dave. Yeah, good quality. Alex Hulley's had a good throw for tonight. So here's the times, guys. 11.20 for Na Anang. 11.20. So that's equal to Raylene, absolutely equal to Raylene at number 6. Ella Conley runs 11.30 just outside her personal best. Brie Masters runs 11.34 just outside her personal best. And Tori Lewis runs at 11.40. Sam Geddes has had a good run, hasn't she?
This is fantastic. Look at the quality of our athletes and into a headwind. The fact is that our athletes were making semi-finals of the 100 metres at Commonwealth Games. They did very well at the World Championships. It's brilliant.
And the world ranking system is complicated, but to try and make it simple, it actually, you get performance points plus the win, adjusted for the wind. So that is a very good position for Na Anang to be in.
Let's have a look at the long jump start list for the women, Dave.
Well, it's down the bottom that the action is. Samantha Dale competed at the World Championships, Commonwealth Games. Tamisha Clark's the Oceania champion. Bushkuhl, formerly Stratton. What a great performer she has been. Twice 2nd at the Commonwealth Games, World Championships Olympic finalist. And Tara Davis Woodhall, partner of Hunter, loves the cowboy hat and the boots. She doesn't have either of those on tonight. But she is bringing the sparkle to the women's long jump. This is Annie Maguire, Queensland, coached by Gary Bourne, who, if I can just mention, is having a tough time with some illness. He's got a big surgery tomorrow. Coaches a lot of these long jumpers. Mitchell White, been involved in Jai Tarima, Henry Frayne, etc. Gazza, I know you're watching. We're all with you. Our thoughts are with you tonight. All the best for tomorrow.
It's a great community, the athletics one, isn't it?
It's a family.
That tonight.
It's a family, isn't it, Dave? Once you're in the athletics team, you're in it for life.
Well, unless you were competing against me, then you weren't really in my family. But anyway, I'm a bit different.
Dave, you have dropped every note that you have made in the last 6 years. It's on the floor, and you've got the most important person in the room.
Well, Josh Kay,
tell us about what's happening on the long jump runway.
Josh Kay is our file manager. Is Alyssa Lowe from New South Wales, coached by Nicole Boatman-Stewart. She was a good jumper as well. Olympic finalists had birthday soon. We were born in the same hospital, Bruce, Nicole and I. Well, 12 days apart. How about that for a stat? Not even you knew that.
I had no idea, and I wasn't there. I was about 45 at the time. So,
Men's
Dave,
javelin is underway as well.
Sorry to interrupt you, Dave. Tell us about the javelin.
Samantha Dale on the runway, coached by Andrew Murphy. A great triple jumper, Olympic finalist, coach of Rowan Browning. And look at the crowd, it's great to see everywhere you look. We kind of feel like we've gone back in time as we take a look at the start list for the men's javelin. Hamish Peacock, the veteran, Cruz Hogan and Cam McIntyre, the two leading Australians, and Donovan Banks from the USA. The ones to watch in the men's spear. Good conditions, perfect really. Cam McIntyre, 81.96 man, 7th at the Commonwealth Games. And Hamish Peacock, the veteran now, 32 years of age.
I think Fred might be out there, guys. Fred Curley, because the Peter Norman 200 metres is not all that far away. The world champion. After that heat in Eugene, a lot of people were thinking that Bolt's world record might go at those world titles.
Well, and he said at the press conference earlier this week that he is going to run fast, and you wouldn't doubt him. Thomas Clark on the runway in the women's long jump.
I picked up those bits of paper, by the way.
Pleased.
20-year-old, won the Oceania Championships, 6:49 lifetime best. The wind can be a little tricky here, and you can see that Tamisha just waiting for the breeze.
There's Fred, he's looking pretty relaxed, and I suppose you would be when you're the world champion, the fastest person on the planet. He's the triple threat, isn't he, as well? He can run a 400, and he moved back down to that 100-metre sprint to see if he could get his speed up to break that 40, go sub 44.
By the look of the indicator board over there, it's got 6:65 up on the board, which might have been the previous jump from Samantha Dale, which would be sensational if it is. Here comes Clark. Pretty good on the board. And action underway in the javelin. That's Capers Williamson from the USA, 80-metre man, 80.49 his lifetime best, 4th at the USA Nationals in 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, on the runway in the women's long jump on the back straight, it is twice a silver medalist at the Commonwealth Games, the Australian record holder, Brooke Bushkuhl. Pretty solid opening jump.
Glynis Dunn in the background there, Dave.
Well, Olympic finalist, heptathlon gold medalist. She's a bit greedy. Hurdles finalist, long jump finalist, Olympic heptathlon champion back in 1984. Well, Tara Davis-Woodhall, she is an entertainer, the 25-year-old, 6th in the Olympic Games in Tokyo. Lifetime best of 7:14. 6:49 was the jump from Brooke Bushkuhl. So we wait for that distance. White flag goes up in the air.
So you're thinking 6:65 is our leader at the moment, Dave, as we go back to the javelin here.
Cruz Hogan on the runway from Western Australia. World Champs representative, and that's a big throw out over the 75-metre mark.
So that's a big season's best for him. So we get to the Peter Norman 200 metres, one of the great highlights of the night, and the absolute showstoppers here in Fred Curley from the United States of America. So you march to Endora and Browning and Despard, but to go at Law, Murphy, the two youngsters, and Curley and Ohaise. So to introduce them, here's Dave Coleman.
Well, what a great lineup we have here for the men's Peter Norman 200 metres. The Mexico Olympic Games silver medalist, humanitarian. We pay homage to him every time we walk in here at Lakeside with that statue out the front. So here's the field. From the outside, in lane 8, the Olympic 4x400 metre representative from Great Britain, Michael Ohaise. In lane 7, Olympic 100 metre silver medalist, the reigning 100 metre champion of the world, currently the world's fastest man, it is Fred Curley. In lane 6, the Australian under-20 record holder from South Australia, one of 2 teenagers here, welcome to Aidan Murphy. In lane 5, the World Junior Championship bronze medalist, just 19 years of age from Queensland, please welcome Caleb Law. Stacked field here in lane 4, the 2018 Stoll gift winner, representing Tasmania, Jacob Despard. In lane 3, Olympic semi-finalist, Commonwealth Games finalist over 100 metres from New South Wales, Rowan Browning. In lane 2, the Australian 100 metre champion, representing Queensland, Jake Doran. And on the inside, in lucky lane 1, World Championship and Olympic Games representative from Japan, Yun Yamashita. Ladies and gentlemen, the Peter Norman 200 metres.
So 6 years ago, Usain Bolt ran the back straight here in Nitro. He was the world champion at the time at 100. Maurice Green arrived in Sydney in 2000 as the world 100 metre champion. It's only the 3rd time we've seen the champion of the world at 100 metres in Australia running, the current champion, and Curley goes from 2 from the outside at 200. It's stacked. We don't see Browning at 200 often. There's Fred, a man of faith. And we all stand, don't we? Almost set. So away, so he's 2 from the left, Curley. He got a really good start. Oh, they're coming back. They're coming back. So they went a fair way.
Tell you, a few of the 100 metre sprinters won't be happy about that. They've already run about 20 metres and they've been pulled back. It's going to be interesting to see who gets an unsteady, hopefully just an unsteady. We want to see the green card, not the red card, come out.
Couldn't give Fred a red, could you?
No, not at all. I mean, everybody was watching him. He didn't move.
Here we go. So let's have a look. Ooh.
Oh, it looks like the blocks have fallen back of Jake Doran.
Yeah.
So hopefully they're doing it just out of respect that he's going to get another shot, because I think his blocks have slipped back. So hopefully that means all 8 starters get another shot at this 200 metre race. But Fred will be relaxed. He's got experience at false starts and staying calm. You know, he's got unfinished business this year, Bruce. He wants that double gold. He started his mission in Oregon where he won the 100 metres, but just didn't quite get that 200 metre job done. So he wants to get the 100, 200 gold, double gold in Budapest. But then I'm going to be interested to see if he can break that long-standing Wade van Niekerk 400 metre world record and dip under the 43 seconds like he would like in the 400.
His dance card's full, Dave, isn't it?
Staggering, really, when you consider sub-10, sub-20, sub-44. It's greedy.
Yeah, so Michael Johnson and Wade van Niekerk are the only other runners to have run under 10 seconds for 100, under 20 for 200, under 44 for 400 metres, so he's in great company, and so are they.
He must be at the top, though, if you on the combined time.
So the
fastest combined.
So the 9.76 gives him gets MJ nervous, doesn't it?
It's impressive.
So for Browning here, it's interesting. I mean, it's great to see Rowan doubling up. He doesn't run, Tams, at a whole lot of 200s.
No, he doesn't, but I think a lot of people have said that this could be his event in the future, so a lot of eyes will also be on Rowan Browning to see how he runs out this 200 metres.
So Jake just checking in lane 2, so he's come out of the blocks there, Jake Doran. All seems to be well.
And Rowan Browning finished that 100 metres off in in Adelaide Track Classic, where he won really well.
We've seen one junior tonight do something extraordinary, and we've got a couple here with Law and Murphy as well. So there's Browning, the flying mullet. Curly 2 from the left, take 2. 19.92 is the fastest time ever run in this country. Almost set. All systems go, you'd think. Curly got a good start. Murphy out well with Law. Browning's running a really good blend free from the right. Curly's going to lead them into the stretch. You'd expect that. Browning might be in front of him. He's right there, Rowan, the flying mullet. Now Curly starts to move up on Browning and move away. And how fast will it be? Yes, celebrate. We don't see many like you, Fred. We're with you. Rowan second. And then a cluster in third and fourth. Well, it's not quite Beijing 08, but another bloke celebrated that night, didn't he?
Wow, that was super impressive. He started celebrating with 20 metres to go as he's gone straight to the fans who have come to see Fred Curly. What an incredible athlete. We have just witnessed something very special. He's got his 2023 campaign underway.
Dave, how cool is cool?
Well, he's cool, no doubt about that. And he dispensed with the sub-20 to give the fans down the straight something to cheer about. He took a while to warm up, and Rowan Browning ran a great bend on the inside. And now Fred says, OK, I'm in the stretch. This is my turf. Away I go. And at this point, Tamsin, he says, I'm going to start to wiggle the finger.
It was an incredible run, and just by looking at the way he ran that bend, he looked like he was just running the cobwebs out, because he got around that bend with round shouldered and he looked too big for the lane. But when he came to the front straight, there was about 50 metres as he came off that bend where he put in a little bit of work, and then he switched off. Imagine how fast he can go when he goes all out from the gun.
Bruce, if you do that in the races, you get fined for showing the elation before the finish line. We love it.
Let's hear from him.
And a man who has just lit up Lakeside and Fred Curly. You don't run 20.31 as easy as that. Congratulations. Take us through the great run.
Well, it's all about execution and have fun at the end of the day and put on a show for the crowd.
How you've enjoyed Australia?
We've been here for a week, still here for another 2 weeks, so the 400 should be nice in Sydney.
Looking forward to that. Take us through that race. Your bend, was it slightly conservative, then you started to extend?
No, I still got to work on the bend, so ain't too much to worry about that. I know coming home, I'm good.
The number one goal for 2023 for you?
Get a gold.
Bring it on. Will we still see you running a 400 in the future soon?
Yeah, next week, 2 weeks in Sydney.
And you're in shape for that?
Yes, you saw that.
Hey, how's your Australian accent going? You've been here for a week.
Not too good right now, so we still got to work on it.
You're about to receive a trophy from the Norman family. The great Peter Norman was an incredible athlete, but also an even better humanitarian, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So Pete's daughter there, and Elaine finishing.
Oh, I'm just talking about his coach. I think when he was talking about his bend there that he's got to work on it, you can see the slingshot angles that he uses because he is a bit bigger. He goes wide around that bend and slingshots off. That was just so impressive, Bruce.
So Rowan Browning equals his personal best at 20.71. Aidan Murphy's run really well at 20.76 and beats Caleb Law, which is the real battle between the 19-year-olds. He gets the better there. So what could be done tonight? Well, the home turn was something you picked up on, Tamsin, and he picked up on as well with Richo. But so he's running the 400 in Sydney, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, which will be fascinating to see because he's clearly in shape to run a very fast 400.
So our next event on this great night of the Maurie plant meet is the women's 3,000, but we've got a bit of high jumping going, Dave.
Underway in the high jump, but I can tell you that in the women's long jump, Samantha Dale, better than the 665, 671 is her best in the second round. Think it's legal. Can't imagine it would have been an illegal tailwind down the back straight. Tara Davis is in second, 669, and Brooke Bushkuhl 655. So that's just 1 centimetre off her personal best, Samantha Dale. So she leads the long jump 671. Here she is, perfect timing. As we go back to this long jump with our event leader. Men's long jumpers warming up as well. As we mentioned, coached by Andrew Murphy, had the great experience of going to the World Champs and the Commonwealth Games last year. And here she comes, women's long jump, Samantha Dale. I've done my best to try and get that board moved out of the way. 662 was the previous jumper of Alyssa Lowe. The conditions must be great on that back straight. We are in the concluding round, so Dale at the back end of the order. But that is good long jumping, Bruce.
It sure is, Dave. Some great stuff there. So the women's 3,000 metres. It's a strong lineup. Great to see Jen Gregson back, Rose Davies and Georgia Hansen come off the World Cross Country. Lyndon Hall's fascinating here at the trip. Tanaka's got a great story to tell, and then Getachew, Chisang, etc. Dave, the leading contenders.
So good field here. Women's 3,000 metres. Meet record held by Sonia O'Sullivan, a great Irish woman based in Melbourne, 8:43.51. As we look at the second page there, including Sayanet Getachew of Ethiopia, the under-20 World Cross Country champion. Let's take a look at our featured athletes for the women's 3,000 metres. On the inside, in position 2, Australian steeplechase record holder, 3-time Olympian and returning after Achilles surgery and having baby archer. Please welcome Jen Gregson. Welcome back, Jen. In position 5, Olympic and Commonwealth Games finalist over 1,500 metres from Victoria, Lyndon Hall. Position 9, Tokyo Olympic 1,500 metre finalist, a national 3,000 metre record holder from Japan, Nozomi Tanaka. Position 14, winner of the under-20 race at the women's cross-country titles in Bathurst from Ethiopia, Sayanet Getachew, just 17 years of age. And in position 15, Tokyo Olympian, World Under-20 5,000 metre silver medalist. She was 7th in the senior race at the World Cross Country in Bathurst from Uganda, Pressa Chisang. Big field, women's 3,000 metres.
A field of 17 with the pacemaker. We've had some great form come out of Bathurst for this.
On your marks.
So they're away, and so the pace is going to be set up by Jamie Wainwright, Tamsin, and I think they're aiming for around about that 8:45, 8:50 mark.
Yeah, hoping to hit the 1 kilometre at sub 3 minutes at 2:55. It's a big ask, but with a big field, you'd want to make it fast early, just to make sure that there's no mishaps in these early stages.
So Tanaka in second place. She had an incredibly busy World Championships last year. Her mother's a legend in her own right, isn't she?
Yeah, her mum's a great marathoner. She's coached by her father. She says that she fights with him all the time, but she trusts him. She was 8th in the Tokyo Olympics, gold at the World Under-20 3,000 in 2018, so knows this distance, and then did incredibly, I thought, in the senior race at the World Cross Country, where she finished 14th.
And for Lyndon Hall tonight, I mean, we talked about Jen coming back. Lyndon has had a quiet season so far. We just know what a great athlete she has been over a fair stretch of time now, hasn't she?
Lyndon sitting in about 6th position there. You see her in that bright yellow top. She was the first Australian woman to go sub 4 minutes in the 1,500. She was 6th in that Tokyo 1,500 metres Olympic final. And she has 2 4th positions in the Commonwealth Games 1,500. Quality athlete. I'm going to be interested to see how she's tracking in 2023.
So that was a Box Hill, wasn't it, that night, that 4 minute?
Yep.
It was something. So Lyndon back in 4th place. So it's Wainwright, the pace, leading from Nabret in 2nd placing, and then Chisang and Getachew. So Nabret, Ethiopia, Chisang, Uganda, and Getachew, who was so impressive at the World Junior Championships, winning the cross-country gold medal.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shock win, Getachew winning. She was just incredible on Saturday where she won that race. She was so strong in the finishing stages. It was a really tough, brutal course, and she was really strong in that back end. She said that the team spirit helped her win. She was third at the trials. Nebret, actually, who's sitting in second position there, the Ethiopian 18-year-old, she was the surprise winner of those under-20 Ethiopian cross trials, and she was fifth in the cross-country on Saturday. So they've got some strength here. They do like working together.
So just behind Lyndon Hall's Amy Bunnage. Now, Amy's been in spectacular form. Bathurst didn't work out for her like she would have wanted to. She won the trial by well over a minute, and she broke an Australian. Oh, she just got into trouble on the back of Lyndon there as I speak. So Amy there with the white top. So she had a sensational run just before Christmas, didn't she?
She did. She won that under 23,000 at Zatopek. She's a talented junior that we all have eyes on to see how she goes as she tracks through senior races. But on Saturday, it was just such a brutal course. It's hard to really give justice to the fact of how hard that course was. And she was so brave. She went with the leaders and she tried to run with the African athletes as far as she could. And she just fatigued herself a little bit too early. And that's not a bad thing at a young age, that she's trying to go with the pace and trying to do as much as she can to win rather than pacing herself sensibly. So she's brave and she's doing the same thing here. She's not overawed by the athletes' quality around her. She's having a go. She's sitting in fourth.
So 5 laps to go. So that first kilometre was a little slower than they wished for. So it's at 3 minutes. So you times that by 3, you're around about the 9-minute mark. Rose Davies is working hard. She's pushing up on the inside at the moment. Lyndon looks really good. Amy Bunnage has worked up. So Hall leads Bunnage and Chisang in the back straight. So Chisang, Uganda. What about Uganda with Kip Limo and Cheptegei on the weekend? Kip Limo at 22 years of age with the world at his feet. He's already taken half the world. Getachew sits fourth. Tanaka just behind those. The tall figure of Davies behind those. And Bunnage having a great run in second place at the moment. So it's a solid pace. It's not a pace that's going to hurt these lead contenders.
No, it's not. And you can tell that the pace isn't as fast for some of the athletes that are a bit more quality because they are so bunched up still. So nobody's ready to push that pace at this stage of the early season, and we have to take into account that some of them have probably not pulled up as well as they would like from that World Cross Country course on the weekend. So they'll just be playing a little bit of cat and mouse at the moment, waiting for someone to make the move, trying to have an easier race just to run some of that soreness from the weekend out of their legs.
And for Amy Bunnage, this is the pace that she set when she broke that Australian record, that under 18, at 9 minutes. So she will be comfortable at this pace.
She'll be really comfortable at this pace, and it's good. You know, it's good that she can be in as much of the race as possible before that finishing kick comes in. But Lyndon Hall, who didn't run that World Cross Country, she was there as the reserve for the mixed relay team. She'll have fresher legs than some of them, and she is a quality 3,000 metre runner. She runs great 1500s, but don't discount the fact that she has a fabulous 3,000 PB as well.
And Jen Gregson's in the second half. She's a 3 from the back at the moment behind Caitlin Adams, who had a great run in Bathurst, Caitlin. So Jen on the comeback trail. Has been a long, long time. It's been 81 weeks since that fateful day in Tokyo for her.
Yep, it was pretty brutal for her there. She is in the yellow top. Chasing pack. This is just about honouring Maurie Plant for her and coming out and having her first track race, not only since Tokyo, where she had such disappointment, that she's turned into a silver lining now that she's had her baby Archer, and she says that she looks back on Tokyo fondly now because she's a mum. Little Archer's 8 months old, so how impressive is that? After 8 months old, she's coming out here and she's racing, and she's just wanting to get those legs turning over.
So 3 laps to go here in the women's 3,000. So Hall leads. Just behind her, Getachew, and in front of Getachew is Chisang, and behind Chisang is Nebret, and then Bunnage on the inside of Davies, and then Georgia Hansen, another one of the cross-country competitors on the weekend, tucked in behind her, and then Tanaka. So Lyndon looks really smooth on the back straight. So her personal best is 8:51.20 back in 2020. She wouldn't have run a whole heap of them, Tamsin, would she?
No, she definitely hasn't run a whole heap of 3,000s because her focus has been more 800, 1,500 as she's come through the junior ranks and in the 20s. But, you know, as you get a bit older, you probably focus a little bit more on stepping up in distance. She's got unfinished business at the 1,500. You can tell she was disappointed at the World Championships last year. She had a disruptive season last year, but she looks really fit. She looks like she's running well, but they have boxed her in a little bit as they've come past.
Well, they've quickened up a bit too, just a little. So Chisang and Getachew. It's Uganda and Ethiopia. 19-year-old leads a 17-year-old. And now from Japan, that record holder at so many different distances. Her mother ran how many marathons was it? About 80 or something like that over a stretch of time?
She's just a wonderful range in talent. She's got that beautiful ability to run fast over the 1500. She's run indoors 2:04 Tanaka so far this season. She's run a mile at 4:28 and she's run the 3000 in 8:45 already indoors, but she can run the 10,000 at a world cross country as well. Such a talented athlete over a range of distances. Getachew there, sitting in second. She's doing exactly what she did at the world cross country. Look, she looks kind of like she's fatigued. She's got those round shoulders, but just wait for it. She has a lethal sting, and maybe this is the point where she's going to go for home.
So they have opted up, and Hall's responded pretty well, hasn't she? So Getachew's just saying, and now Lyndon's going to have to try and hang on to this, because this is a serious kick from home. So it came at about the 6:50. There's still over a lap to go. They'll hear that beautiful bell in a moment. So Hall back to fourth, Davies fifth.
Nebret's fallen back, the original race leader, and then it looks like Georgia Hansen, who had the late call-up in the blue singlet in about 7th position, who's hanging on really well as well.
So Getachew leads, the world junior champion, leads from Chisang, who ran so well in the senior. Tanaka looks very good in third place. Linden hasn't quite been able to go with her. And then Rose Davies, Brabant, and then behind those is Hansen. And then they're strung out after that. So off they go in the last lap. Getachew digs and wants to dig a bit more. Chisang sits on her. So a 17-year-old leads a 19-year-old, and then the 23-year-old from Japan, who looks dangerous here, Tanaka.
Well, she's an Olympic finalist in that 1,500 metres. You would think that she has the best sprint of all of these athletes, but Getachew, she knows how to win from the front when she kicks home. She did it in that World Cross Country race on the weekend, uses those big arm action like a sprinter and drives for home.
It's not the prettiest style you've ever seen, but it is oh so effective. And look at this, she's been able to stretch away again. So 17 years of age, champion of the world under 20 last weekend in Bathurst, and now at the Maurie plant meet going to win the 3000. Have a look at that for determination. That's the face of somebody who wants to be a champion, and she's on her way. It is a great run, 8:46. She has smashed her personal best by half a minute basically. Chisang second, third Tanaka, and then behind those was Davies. Did Lyndon get over the line? Yes, Hall and Davies, and then Hansen, who's had a good run, and Adams has finished pretty well. But that was impressive. And now
Jen Gregson.
Young Jen
She'll love
Gregson.
that 33-year-old. He's the new 23, as Matt Centrowitz said. So Jen's finished that. She'll be glad that she's got that race under the belt. The first one's always the hardest. But Rose Davies finished really strongly. She'll be quite happy. Lyndon Hall had a great race for first one back on the track, 2023. But what a great race by Getachew. She's a name of the future. 17 years of age. She can have great range. She won the Porto Half Marathon in Portugal in September in 1:08. This is a big talent.
So 68 minutes for her. Dave, she's going to go back to Ethiopia, and whatever happens in the future, this has been a turning point in her career, hasn't it?
No doubt about that. She's got a heart that only just fits in her chest. It's that big. We saw her at the World Cross Country, and she just refused to give up. And even the expression on her face, look at it here. She just will not be denied. In fact, as she comes down with the arms flailing, it's sort of shades of Catherine Freeman as she comes to the line, and just with that look of determination. That's a great run, and boy, we're lucky to have seen her in action.
So Chisang gets over the top of Tanaka then, and Lyndon Hall's not going to be all that far outside her personal best, if anything at all. So that was a great run by her. So Dave, let's go back to the long jump. Here's Brooks' final attempt, I believe.
So it's been a good competition here in the women's long jump. Bushkuhl 6:59 has had a couple of 6:59 so far. That one looked like it might have been a little bit too close to the front of the board. No. I failed miserably in trying to get that indicator board moved. So that's a strike for me.
Will be next year, though.
And so this is the show. So final round. Coming up in the women's long jump, 6:59 the best for Bushkuhl, and Tara Davis Woodhall has had a couple of 6:69s. In fact, one 6:69 in round 2. So in she comes. Huge speed. And praying they won't put the flag up until you get out of the pit, Tara. There it is. They have enjoyed their time in Australia. Tara Davis Woodhall and her husband Hunter. Not sure if that'll be enough to get up ahead of Samantha Dale.
So those results, big personal best for Getachew, Chisang, Tanaka's run well. Lindenhall does get a personal best here at 850.89. Rose Davies with an 857.94. So that's just not too far outside her best. And Georgia Hansen at 901.37. So they've run particularly well. Caitlin Adams have had a great run at 9:03 there for her. So really good running by all of those Australians behind a young star from Ethiopia. So the long jump's been exciting. We've seen a breakthrough or two. And now we get to the women's 1500. So, Dave, we go from a 3,000 to a 1,500. So there's a familiarity about some of these names. They often clash. In fact, Lyndon Hall knows these women oh so well, doesn't she?
Well, we've seen some wonderful running here, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Jess Hull. A couple of those World Cross Country Championship representatives from Ethiopia coming back as well. And Emma Coburn, of course, as we know, is a steeplechaser who will be exhausted, Bruce, because she has spent the last 3 days looking after Archer Gregson. She's been doing the babysitting duties, and her Instagram feed is the cutest baby I've ever seen. But look at those names there. Georgia Griffiths, great to see her back, along with some rising stars. Maurie Skyring, I've been impressed with her, the young Australian as well.
So, Dave, take us through the leading contenders here.
Women's 1,500 metres from the outside. Commonwealth Games, World Championship and Olympic Games representative, number 3 all-time Australian from Victoria, Georgia Griffith. Position 9, Commonwealth, World and Olympic finalist, World Championship cross-country bronze medalist and Australian record holder in this event. Please welcome from New South Wales, Jessica Hull. Position 9, World Under 20 5,000 metre champion and silver in that Under 20 World Cross Country race from Ethiopia, Medina Issa. Position 7, World Indoor Championship finalist and winner of the Boston Mile just recently from the USA, Heather McLean. Position 5, Commonwealth Games bronze medalist in this event, bronze at the World Cross Country in the relay, winner here last year. Please welcome from Victoria, Abby Caldwell. And in position 4, babysitter of Archer Gregson, 2017 World Champion and 2016 Olympic bronze medalist in the steeplechase from the USA, Emma Coburn. They're the featured athletes. A great field. Women's 1,500.
Didn't think much of your joke, I don't reckon, Emma, Dave. She just kept a really straight face, but it was a good one. What an athlete she has been. So, again, the pace here is going to be important, Tamsin, because this could be oh so quick, couldn't it?
Well, they've set it at 2:10 to 2:11, but I think Jess wants it a bit faster, so we'll see if she goes with it.
So what, 2:10 to 11 gives you around about 4:04, 4:05, I reckon. So they can be quicker than that, I think, don't you?
Yeah, this is a quality field.
So we've seen those leading contenders. Hull was quite remarkable in Bathurst. She's in the blue strip tonight. Let's see if she can bring that form here. Caldwell, we know, is such a fast finisher. Griffiths in good form. She ran oh so well in Adelaide. So the pace being done by Rochelle Kennedy here. McLean's been in fantastic form for the United States. It is a loaded race. And Aisha, of course, of Ethiopia, the 18-year-old.
Yeah, Aisha, she's one to watch. Another Ethiopian, 18 years of age, silver at the World Under 20 World Cross Country race. Probably the ones that the Ethiopian thought was going to win. There she is there on the outside in wearing the number 8 on her hip.
And Wudu just behind her is been a multiple medalist at World Junior Championships, so they're both stars in the making, both teenagers. So pace set here by Kennedy. So Griffith, Aisha, Wudu goes past her. Hull well placed. Caldwell in that mix as well, just back a little. And around the outside, the tall figure of Skyring. So they look to have slowed a bit. Billings about 4 or 5 from the back.
It only looks like Georgia Griffiths is the only one who's been the one who's wanted to go with this pace early. It's a little bit surgy. Rochelle would have seen that the pace was a little bit off, and so she's kicked it up. And Georgia's doing the smart thing rather than making a quick reaction. She's just going to hopefully gradually work her way back up to the paces back. But Georgia made the final of the World Championships in the 1,500. As you see Jess Hull start to move wide, and Ace has taken the lead.
Yeah, so they're behind that pacemaker. So the pacemaker will have done her work at 800 metres. So she'll leave the track. So Wudu, Aisha and Griffith are there. We get that great shot from above. You can see how tight they can run here, Tams, and there's not much room for error. We've seen over the stretch so many times there have been mishaps. Godo of Japan outside of Skyring. Hull tucked away. Caldwell, where's Abby at the moment? So she's in a good spot. She's up in 3rd, 4th place, and she's got a bit of wriggle room, hasn't she?
It's really rough because it has slowed down a lot. It's a rough sort of pace. You don't want to be stuck on that inside railing when the moves come. Caldwell, the bronze medalist, the young Australian at the Commonwealth Games, she's a quality tactician for somebody so young. She's found herself now out in the lead when the pacemaker has dropped out. She was part of that world cross-country mixed relay bronze medal. She anchored the team. She got that honour of crossing the line for the Australians in the medal position. But it's Caldwell and Hull out there at the front. It's what Australian middle distance fans like to see. The 2 athletes out in the front were in that mixed relay. They did get that medal. They'd be very, very positive leading into this race, but they're running well.
So the 13 athletes would be 10 metres between first to last. So they were teammates last week. They shared that bronze medal together. And here tonight, they're head-to-head. Caldwell inside of Hull, who tucks in behind. Skyring behind those. Coburn gets some running room, the American. McLean and Wudu try to go with her as well. So the ante's about to be upped at the bell. Caldwell, Hull, Aisha. Coburn tucked in behind. 1 lap to go in the women's 1500.
And Coburn has moved herself up really well. She has got herself into that 3rd position as Wudu, the Ethiopian, is there trailing her with the number 6 on her hip, but Abby's not giving that lead up to Jess that easily.
And Griffith trying to wind up. You can see Griffith on that shot there. She's trying to wind up on the back of Wudu. So Hull goes for home. She must be so confident after Bathurst. Stretches away Jess. Multiple Australian and Oceania record holder. Stretches to 2-3 metres on Abby. Abby won't go away. Jess will know that. Abby's not quite done yet, I can tell you. And then Griffith into the stretch. Hull went early. Caldwell's a chance. Hull grits her teeth. Abby gets up alongside of her. Bronze medalist together last week. Hull, Caldwell goes up to her. Hull won't relinquish. It's going to be one of the greats. Hull stretches away. What a race. Hull over Caldwell. A rivalry has been set here in Melbourne. And then behind them Griffith. And then Coburn, etc. It was some go, wasn't it?
It was brilliant. The 3 Australians were 1, 2, 3. Heather McLean from the USA finished very strongly as well. She'll be happy with that run, but honestly, coming off that bottom bend, it looked like Caldwell was going to get over the top of Jess, but she's such a fighter. She ran brilliantly at the World Cross Country in her 2nd leg. Look at this. Look at the form of the 2 athletes. Abby Caldwell, for someone so young, she's such a great tactician. Beautiful leg stride by both athletes. Nice and relaxed at the back end of 1500. Using their arms like sprinters, really powering to the finish line so well. Look at that relaxation. Textbook middle distance running. We have such superstars in middle distance running here in Australia at the moment. Great job, Jess and Abby.
We've seen the best 1500 metres between 2 Australians I think I've ever seen. That was hats off to both of them. Jess had the thumbs up. Abby put it to Jess like she's never had it before by an Australian in Australia and fought her off, and that was tremendous.
And now we're about to hear from Jess in just a moment. So she was so great. So Dave, let's go now to the high jump because this is a star-studded lineup.
Well, Nicky, Ollie Slaggers is the favourite in the high jump. Height of the bar is 1 metre 84.
Great.
And this is Takahashi of Japan, 23-year-old. She's jumped 184, so this is at her lifetime best. That came in 2022. Japanese national champion. If we can take a quick look at the start list, beautiful scene as we look down over Albert Park, Lakeside Stadium, the Melbourne Central Business District, just at the top of the screen. Toby Stolberg, the youngster from Brisbane, went to the World Junior Championships. Erin Shaw was 4th at those World Juniors, the young Australian. Kelly Hagan of New Zealand, 189. And Nicola Ollie-Schlagers, we know her better as Nicola McDermott, the equal Australian record holder, 2nd in Tokyo, 5th at the Commonwealth Games last year. Equals that Australian record with Eleanor Patterson, who's not here tonight, is actually having an operation tomorrow. She's broken her little toe on her takeoff foot and is having to have surgery tomorrow. And so thoughts with you, Eleanor, to face that. And here's Toby Stolberg, the youngster from Queensland, just 16 years of age, coached by her mum Teresa, otherwise known as Marty, former heptathlete. And a rising young star, 184, which is a new personal best if she can get over. Lifetime best, 182. Got into the World Junior Championship final. Finished equal 8th in Cali, Colombia last year. Great result. Loves all sports. Plays her basketball. Her sister's playing basketball in the US. What a scene this is.
Brilliant, isn't it? Just the perfect evening. Great crowd in the front straight. So the men's 800 metres is out next to Ben. It's fast and furious, isn't it? So some familiar names here as well. Charlie Hunter, I'm really interested in, Dave. We've got a couple of good New Zealanders. Brad Mathis, of course, lives here, born here. But Charlie Hunter's got some talent, but he can be up and down.
An emerging group of athletes here. Watched Lachlan Raper win in Adelaide. He was impressive in a strong race. Brad Mathis as well from New Zealand. Let's introduce the field for the men's 800 metres. The meet record here held by one of Maurie's favourites, David Rudisha of Kenya at 1:43.15. So from the inside, in fact from the outside, let's start from the outside. In lane 8, runner-up in Adelaide from the ACT, Riley McGowan, as we look at our pacemaker Josh Pedrasat. On his inside, it is the runner-up from Adelaide, from ACT, Riley McGowan. Sharing the lane with the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games 800 metre finalist from New Zealand, Brad Mathis. In lane 6, Tokyo Olympic Games semi-finalist from New South Wales, Charlie Hunter. In lane 5, New Zealand national champion from New Zealand, of course, James Preston. In lane 4, World University Games semi-finalist from New South Wales, Jai Perrin. In lane 3, World Junior Championship 800 metre semi-finalist from New South Wales, Luke Boys. In lane 2, national champion of Malta, Jared McAuliffe. And in lane 1, former World Junior Championship representative and the winner in Adelaide from New South Wales, Lachlan Raper.
And not only the winner in Adelaide, Tamsin, but very fast in Canberra, along with Boys in that race. A breakthrough for both of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was definitely a breakthrough. Raper's been running really well, coached by Ben Liddy there in New South Wales. And Boys, the 19-year-old, who was a great opening bowler as well in cricket. I'm glad he's chosen athletics, and he's running brilliantly, the semi-finalist of the World Under-20s.
Your husband won't be happy to hear that.
But really interested to see how Charlie Hunter goes here.
He's had some great performances indoor, hasn't he? So the pace been set by Josh. So what are we hoping to get through at 400 metres?
You know, it's been set at 51.5, but it'd be great if it's 51 and they're right on him. He's gone up really, really quickly here. He'll settle in down the back straight. He wants to make sure that he doesn't have them right on his heels, because it can get quite chaotic at the crossover. Raper in lane 1 means that he has to go out fast so that he can have moving room there, and he's done exactly like that, and hopefully they'll attack onto the back there of the pacer.
So Raper in Adelaide, when he won, when Dave was calling that night, he came from the back and he was very strong late. So as you said, Tams, and a different tactic tonight because of the draw. So Raper and Preston at the front two, McAuliffe just behind those, and then the red shirt of Boys, who was just behind Raper in their very fast run in Canberra.
And Charlie Hunter's right at the back there, which is an interesting tactic. They have gone out very fast. 50.21, it is fast. It's very, very fast. If these guys can hold on to this pace for as long as they can could get some personal bests out of this.
So let's see if Hunter can get into that lead, because he's 15 metres off the back of Mathis, isn't he, in that back straight. So Raper's put it on the line here. This is a courageous run. He's gone from the front basically all the way here. Preston behind him, McAuliffe, and then Perrin. Mathis a bit further back. In front of him is Boys, and still Hunter's so far back now that he can't get into the frame. So can Raper hang on here?
Well, McAuliffe's having a great run. He's gone onto the shoulder of Raper. He had injuries from 19 years of age, and he came back after a year off, and look at him go. He's going to hit the front.
Gets right up alongside him. There'll be some late challenges. Preston coming hard. Mathis getting up on the inside. Preston takes the lead, and here's McGowan really late. It's the New Zealanders 1 and 2. Preston just over Mathis, and third McGowan. Fourth probably Perrott in front of McAuliffe, Raper, and then Boys, and Charlie was at the back.
Wow, though, look at that time, 1:45.88. Preston, who has a personal best of 1:45.30 that he set in Germany last year, he won this event to stamp himself on the 800-metre map last year in Melbourne. He is a fantastic athlete, and he'll be very happy with that race.
It's a big run. McGowan, you would think, is going to get a personal best here for sure. He was 1:47.19, his personal best, so he's going to be quick.
And Brad Mathis has never dipped under 1:46. His personal best is 1:56.01, so please let it be under 1:46.
Well, it's tantalising, isn't it? So great run. I mean, Preston Mathis took the short way home. McGowan put in a big run, some late closes from Perrott, and those times will be very, very interesting. So it's 1-2 for New Zealand. We saw a terrific long jump, and here's Richo with Samantha Dale.
Our winning long jumper in Samantha Dale, who knocks off some big names. Sam, congratulations. Take us through the comp.
Yeah, it was well, we got the first one on the board, our first jump, which was nice to do, so then we could relax a little bit. And then, yeah, second jump, I think it was a 6:71, which legal PB, which is nice to start third comp with.
Is that a surprise to you, or did you feel like you're building up to good form?
I was definitely been training really well, definitely in good form. It's just, again, not fouling, getting on the board instead of over the board. So, yeah, and that happened tonight, which at this meet is really exciting.
And that's the nature of your event. We've seen it in the past, whether representing Australia, where it can be so cruel, can't it?
Yeah, it can be a tough event, and especially when you can go 3 jumps or fouls or 1 jump. But, yeah, you've got to nail that 1 jump is all it takes. So I'm happy I could do that tonight.
And you've knocked off a couple of the big stars of the sport, girl, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it was a bit unexpected, actually. I didn't expect, Tara's obviously jumped the 6:99, so I was definitely expecting her to pip us all there. And then Brooke, obviously, coming off the back of last season with the Com Games finishing silver. It's definitely exciting to be up there still with them all.
Congratulations, mate. Great start to the season. Well done.
Thank you.
Big points.
Results, Dave.
Yeah, big points, big win for Samantha Dale with that personal best. She had jumped 6:72 with the assistance of wind, her previous best 6:70. Tara Davis-Woodhull 6:69, and Brooke Bushkuhl 6:59 in third place. And everyone over 6 metres. So some good depth in the women's long jump. Big win for Samantha Dale. Chris Matreski's jumped over 8 metres in the men's long jump so far as well. As we go back to the high jump, height of the bar is still at this 184. Emily Whelan on the runway from New South Wales, training partner of Nicola Oleschlagers under Matt Horsnell, second at the Nationals last year, and that's a big jump, 184. So her personal best is 186, set this year. So that's good jumping, great conditions, big crowd. Other than Nitro, we haven't seen a crowd like this since back at the old days of Olympic Park, Bruce. And of course, that great night when Freeman broke 50 for the first time, Mona got mobbed, and Paul Cleary beat the Kenyans.
Incredible. Erin Shaw's interesting, Dave. She had some big breakthroughs indoors in Europe recently.
Had a great trip with Alex Stewart, her coach of Brandon Stark. Twice over 190, 4th at the World Junior Championships last year. Lifetime best of 190 indoors, 188 outdoors, 184 here. Erin Shaw on the runway in the high jump. Not bad. It's not a bad jump, that. I think if, despite the bar coming off, had the elevation, just didn't quite get the timing right. But that's a big performance to finish 4th at the World Junior Championships, World Under-20s.
His Cruz, who had the terrific opening throw that we saw, Dave. It was a big seasonal best for him. So from Western Australia.
Currently it's Felice Valadi-Sosa of France who leads with an 82.04 as we look at Cruz Hogan. GPS just gets it inside the sector line, a foul. Currently in this men's javelin, it is the High Sosa of France who leads, 82.04. Cam McIntyre, 80.32. And then Capers Williamson, 79.11. Back to the high jump. And O'Hagan of New Zealand knocks the bar off at 184. Back to the javelin. Man in third place, Capers Williamson, the 30-year-old from the US. Tickling the 80-metre mark, perhaps.
So one of the features of tonight, Dave and Tamsin, is that not just the superstars that are here, but other athletes as well, for those points, to get a head start towards the World Championships.
Well, back in our day, Bruce, you used to just do the qualifier, get on the team, and that was it. But now the qualifyings are severe in just about every event. 10 flat and 100, for example. So you need to get the ranking points, and the bonus points that you get from a Continental Gold meet, second only to a Diamond League meet, really important. And that's why we've seen athletes come from so many different countries. Takahashi, Japan is one of those. Of course, big Japanese swing at the end of the Australian domestic season. A lot of our athletes will go up there. World Championships in Tokyo in 2025. We know that Tams is not allowed to come to the Jamaican Nationals, Bruce, when we go, but we'll be going to Tokyo. Don't you worry about that.
Oh, okay.
Takahashi just going through her warm-up. I think the bar, we're either checking it or it's going up. It's currently at 184.
Can I ask you a question that I don't know the answer to, and I don't know if you... Has Nicola jumped yet?
No.
No, okay, so Nicola hasn't jumped. So that high jump will continue to rise and the champ still to come in. So let's turn our attention now to the track with the men's 3,000 metres. Stewie McSwain, the great Stewie McSwain from King Island in Tasmania. I was over there, Dave, for the races a couple of weeks ago and had a good old chat to Stewie's father. Good, he can talk. I missed
Jackie and
the
Scott,
cup.
he sometimes takes a bit to warm up, but he's a great bloke. Men's 3,000, John Gay was at the World Cross Country. Dan Kibet of Uganda. Ishmael Karui was superb there. We'll introduce the top competitors in a moment. Archie Noakes was impressive too, to be the first Australian home in the junior race.
17th, he was absolutely... I'm really keen to see how these steeplechasers go here too. Clark and Buckingham. Thought Buckingham was terrific in Adelaide.
Yeah, he ran a great race. Meet record, one of the 2 meet records in Adelaide.
So let's have a look at the leading contenders, Dave, for the men's 3,000.
So let's take a look at the leading contenders for the men's 3,000 metres. So we start on the inside. In position 2, Tokyo Olympic 5,000 metre representative from Victoria, Sam McEntee. Position 3, 4th in the under-20 race at the Men's World Cross Country Championships from Uganda, Dan Kibet. In position 9, the World Junior Cross Country Champion, winner of the under-20 race in Bathurst from Kenya, Ishmael Kipkurui. In position 10, Australian 3,000 metre record holder, Olympic and World Championship 1,500 metre finalist, bronze medal from the World Championships last year, and the king of King Island. Please welcome Stuart McSwain. And on his outside, 6th in the under-20 race at the World Cross Country Championships from Uganda, Kenneth Kiprop. They're the featured starters, Bruce, in the men's 3,000 metres.
Good stuff, Dave. Well, we've seen a World Junior cross-country champion win here tonight. We've got another one here now with Kipkurui. What a field we've got as they toe the line.
Kipkurui, it's hard to look past him in this one, Bruce.
Well, what about Stewie?
You never ever want to go against the Aussie, do you, in the local crowd? We'll be right behind Stewie.
On your mark.
Here we go, Tamsin. So let's set that pace up. So Callum Davies is going to do the pace work here.
Yeah, hopefully go to 1,200 metres of the 3,000 and run about 3 minutes 05. He's just run the mile race. He's out there in front, so see how he's pulled up from the mile race, but you can see Stuart McSwain's gone straight to the outside as he gets a little knock on his back from Lachlan Hurd, and he'll push his way up just to make sure that he stays out of trouble with this big field.
And now Quebec starts to chase, and Kip Karui and Kiprop there, see them from the back, so they have followed McSwain in a way and want to get into that position. Shuey is always a little slow out of the blocks, so to speak, is he? And then he quickly gathers and always seems to put himself into a front-running position.
Well, I think he'd be a little bit frustrated with how last season went. It was no fault of his own. He wasn't feeling well and he wasn't himself, and so he missed a lot of those top-quality races that gets him into Stewie McSwain's shape that we know that he's all capable of. He was 7th in the Olympic final back in Tokyo, where the King Island Primary School changed their recess to watch his prelims. He's such a superstar back there at home in Tasmania. He looks good here. He wasn't feeling well. Apparently, he was quite sick leading into the Mixed Relay World Cross-Country Championships, where he got that bronze medal. But he's had another few days, good sleep, rest after that race, and hopefully he's up for a fast one.
And for those that were there and those that watched on television, it was such an undulating, difficult course.
Yep.
And Stewie never looked in rhythm, did he? I mean, he didn't run badly, but he didn't sparkle. He never looked in rhythm, and at one stage he sort of stumbled a bit, and you never felt like he was comfortable in the ground.
Well, it's hard as a track athlete where you're used to the hard surface and able to use that gait, that natural gait and flowing running style that you get off the track. The cross-country course is so different. It's a great training run for them, though. Like, this is the start of the season for them. They've got big goals heading into the World Championships later in the year. So for him, a lot of this is just about training and getting himself into shape and getting the confidence back that he has had that makes us see him take it to world-class athletes like Inga Britson when he's overseas in Diamond League races.
Just noticed too that Stewie McSwain, in a nod to Maurie Plant's got the old school Melbourne Track Club singlet on. Back from before the Sydney Olympics, that is the singlet of the Melbourne Track Club. It's an old one. There's not too many that are still in existence, but Stewie's found one in the bottom drawer. And he's wearing it for Maurie tonight.
It wouldn't have been one that Maurie wore.
No, you'd need to see 6 or 7 of them together.
Interestingly, Bruce, in third is Dan Cabet, the 19-year-old who led most of that cross-country race. He's going to college in the USA at Gosha College, and he chose there because they have a phenomenal nursing program. That's the athlete in third there. He's studying to be a nurse as well as being a top-quality athlete.
That's a Tamsin tail. 2:32 through the first K here, so the pace is good. Davies has done a great job. He's already been out there in the mile tonight. You talked about that. We know what a tough little rooster he is, isn't he? And he looks at his watch, and Stewie looks comfortable. Kip Karui behind him, and then Cabet. So Kip Karui in third place there, Cabet in fourth place, and then a big gap.
Yep.
Archie Noakes is 2 from the back, 3 from the back, the young Australian who did so well in Bathurst.
Yeah, the steeplechaser, the 18-year-old who trains with Charlotte Wilson alongside Liam Adams, our marathoner, who took it to the Commonwealth Games nations in that marathon last year. But you can see Kip Karui here, the 18-year-old who was 6th in the African Championships, won the under-20 race. He's wearing the orange singlet. He is now trying to work back onto Stewie McSwain's shoulder. Now that Callum Davis has dropped out, the work's being done all by Stewie out there, and he's going to feel these athletes coming up to him.
And all the steeplechasers are behind him. They're all in a collective group, Clark and Buckingham, and also the Canadian John Gay. But we're looking at the front, so you can see the gap between the first 3 and then the group. It's about 30, 40 metres perhaps. It's a big gap at this stage in a race. There's McSwain, just trying to relax, and relax he does. He's 3-4 metres in front of Kip Karui.
Look at the difference in the height of these athletes. Kip Karui, after he won that race, he spoke about the Kenyan training camp leading in, where they practiced the angles, because the angles on that cross-country course were really sharp. They're so meticulous with their training, the Kenyans, as we see. Kip Karui has gotten up to the shoulders of Stuart McSwain, but how brilliant is Stewie? It's so great to see Stewie back here in Melbourne, attacking the pace like we're so used to him doing, and he's running well.
And he's getting a huge round of applause with 3 laps to go. So his Australian Oceania record at 7:28. Kip Karui hasn't run a lot of them at 7:52. So he's going to be well inside that, you'd think, tonight. And then a long, long gap to Cabet. And then a long, long gap then to a group of runners, including Matthew Clark, Ben Buckingham, John Gay, Isaac Hayne, all in that group, and also Kenneth Kiprop.
And Clark is leading that second big pack, and hoping that he can at least catch back on to Cabet, who's starting to falter, and he's in no man's land there in the middle.
Very different styles. I mean, Stewie's got a style all of his own, hasn't he? I mean, he's always one sort of step from falling over. I mean, it's the most... He's got to be the fastest runner in the world that's ever run like that, doesn't he?
He does have a little bit of an angle to his gait, but what he has is a big heart, so he's got such good aerobic strength, and he's still really nice off the ground. So if you watch his foot placement, he's nice. He's got nice foot strike. Yeah, you'd like to see him with a little bit more knee lift and leg stride length, but at least off the ground, he's still really nice, and he's still turning them over really well.
So 2 laps to go. Dave, you mentioned the singlet, the Melbourne track. This is shades of the old stuff, isn't it? Kenya versus Australia.
Well, we used to market the meets here in the 90s with the sign that just said 2 things, 3 things in fact. The Kenyans are coming. It didn't matter who they were, we knew if they were on the start line, and we had some greats. Moses Kiptanui, of course, Daniel Coman, and now this youngster, Ishmael Kiptanui, Kipkurui, we love him, and Stewie's trying his best to shake him off.
He's right there though, isn't he? Stuart McSwain's going a little bit to the outside of the lane, seeing if he can entice Kipkurui to come through. Stewie is definitely doing all the work out there. Kipkurui does not look like he wants to go to the front at all yet. In the cross-country race, he went with about 600 metres to go with that fast finish.
And Ben Buckingham's made a move in 4th place. So Buckingham's got away from the mob, so to speak. So he's trying to chase down that 3rd place getter in Dan Kibet. So watch for that as well with 1 lap to go. So for the first time, Kipkurui takes the lead. And now for Stewie, it's going to be really interesting. Does he hang on here with a lap to go? A gap to Quebec and then Buckingham. 1 lap out. It's seemingly quick. McSwain hasn't gone away at all. He looks to be comfortable, and now Kipkurui's exposed himself, so to speak.
And it's really hard. You can see here just how Stewie's having to chop his stride and go a little bit wider here, because Kipkurui is like, he cut in really early. Stewie's having to cut that stride length down. It's hurting both the athletes now. Who's the toughest?
So the gap's a metre. It's now 2 metres. It's 2, almost 3. McSwain's losing that contact, and Kipkurui's got away here. He's just 18 years of age, and like we saw in the women's race tonight, these remarkable under-20 World Cross Country champions have come to the Maurie Plant meet and have really delivered. So I reckon another star is born. How many stars could be born on one night? Surely more than one. Well, we've got a couple. And look how fast he's going to be. His best time is 7:52. He's taken about 11 seconds off that. McSwain's had a terrific run. Quebec gets through for 3rd. Buckingham has finished oh so well in 4th placing. That's a great run. And then they come in behind him. Oakley gets in next, and then behind him would have been Kim Brock. Some good running, Clark as well. Another great race, Tamsin.
That was super impressive. And Kipkurui, 18 years of age, stayed relaxed there behind Stewie, and then when he needed to, he just opened up those stride length, and he was really relaxed as he ran past Stewie. Stewie will be happy with that, though. It's just nice. Yeah, it's so nice seeing him back out there and running really well. He's so tough, Stewie. He's happy to attack races and push the pace to make sure that there is a decent pace. Look at Kipkurui just looking across. He's so relaxed in his shoulders and his face. Even when he decides to make his move, he makes it without putting any tension or stress through his body. He just eases past Stewie, and then just look at this finishing technique. It's beautiful.
So not only a great runner, 18 years of age, a great tactician. I mean, he ran that perfectly, Kipkurui, didn't he?
He did.
He used McSwain perfectly, and Stewie, as you said, has had a really strong run tonight.
Yeah, I think they had different goals. I think Kipkurui was just after the weekend wanting to have a good race and see what he could do, whereas Stewie just wanted to push it a little bit, get back to the old Stewie McSwain, and I think that's what we got.
We did. We sure did. We've seen some remarkable distance running tonight, or middle distance, I guess, and distance running tonight. Some great races, and we just saw one there. So Getachew and Kipkurui, we saw them in Bathurst, and now we've seen them here in Melbourne. They're going to be such stars to watch, and I reckon we're probably going to see them in Budapest this year, perhaps. Nicola is on the runway, so to speak, Dave.
Height of the bar, 187 in the women's high jump. We've got 2 competitors remaining in the field. Emily Whelan from New South Wales, her training partner, is still alive, and a lot of athletes over 180, but only the 2 clearing the 184. Ollie Schlager's first attempt in the competition tonight at 1.87 metre. And as you would expect, a significant clearance.
So Dave, we've never had a 2-metre jump in Melbourne ever.
No.
So do you think it's a chance tonight?
Alison Inverarity holds the meet record 195. It's a definite chance, no doubt about that.
198 in the final in the old Diamond League. Yep. That's going back, so never had it. Do you feel like she's a chance to get 2 metres?
Absolutely a chance. Of course, she was the first to jump 2 metres, did that at the National Championships in Sydney. And then both her and Eleanor raising the bar to 2:02, and that book must be getting very full. Bruce, what do you write when you, after each race? Do you have a little note about, you've got a lot of notes.
I've got a lot, and most of them about you at the end of the meet.
I spoke to Nicola earlier in the week, and she said when she did that 198 in Canberra earlier in the year, she pushed the bar straight up to 2:03, and she feels like that 5 centimetre increment was just too big. Her eyes were like, wow, I've got to readjust here. So she's going to probably go 199, 201.
So here's Emily Whelan. This would be a new personal best for the 23-year-old. Training partner of Nicola, coached by Matt Horston. What a job they're doing on the Central Coast. Here she comes. Personal best. Close.
Dave, she's very precise on the runway, isn't it?
Yeah.
She's quite slow going towards the takeoff, but it's working so well for her.
One of the things about the high jump is you can use any number of different techniques to get to the bar.
So here's the result from the 3,000 metres. So Kip Karui in a personal best over Stewie McSwain at 7:44. He's going to be happy with that. Dan Capet at 7:50 in third place. So Capet's best time before that is he's a 7:45. Buckingham's had a great run, Ben Buckingham. He's about 1 second outside his personal best, and then Julian Oakley has run a personal best there as we go down through the list. Archie Noakes runs 8:12.23, the young Australian, so he's about 4 seconds outside his best time.
There's a lot to like about some of the athletes, you know, that we're seeing. I think you're right, Bruce, when you say some superstars in the making. Kip Karui and Getachew are athletes that we should definitely be keeping an eye on, and hopefully we can say they made their mark firstly in Australia.
Here's a live shot of me before I come to the commentary box. That's what I like to do, put a rug on and just chant on and get ready. Nicola McDermott, focus of attention, love the way she approaches it. You're right, Bruce, about the technique of the high jump. There's the speed jumpers and the power jumpers. You look at Barsham, he just charges in like Usain Bolt.
So has Nicola Waits with a couple still to go. So the women's 200 metres. We saw a great race tonight in the 100. Nara Nang getting over the top of Ella Connolly late in the race. Tori Lewis finishing so strongly, and Bree Masters right there too, just in front of her. So, but Riley Day here as well. So Dave, take us through what looks to be a fantastic lineup of the women's 200.
Here's the lineup for the women's 200 metres. Penultimate event on the track program tonight. We start on the outside in lane 8, the big improver over a 400 this year, 5th in Adelaide over the 200 metres from Victoria, Jessie Andrew.
Middleton Bay, Sheffield, Dave in Adelaide.
22 years of age. Position 7, lane 7, Commonwealth Games 100 metre semi-finalist from Queensland, Bree Masters. In lane 6, burst onto the scene here running against Usain Bolt, the Olympic semi-finalist from Queensland. Welcome back to you, Riley Day. Lane 5, Commonwealth Games 200 metre finalist from Queensland, Ella Connolly. In lane 4, fastest in Australia this season with a time of 23:06, the 18-year-old from Queensland, Tori Lewis. In lane 3, the World Championships representative, big PB, huge PB last week in Christchurch, winner of the 2022 Australian Championship from New Zealand, Georgia Hulls. In lane 2, 2018 World Junior Championship relay representative from Queensland, Christy Edwards. And on the inside, the recently crowned South Australian under-20 100 and 200 record holder, Lakara Starlin. The lineup, women's 200 metres.
Well, so much interest on Riley here. She looks so fit tonight. We haven't seen her for 11 months, is it?
11 months. We've missed her since that March. Last time we saw her racing in the Australian domestic season in March. It's brilliant to have her back. She ran so well in those Olympic Games where she was in the semi-final and just missed that final. She is a big star, and it's hard to believe she's only 22 years of age.
Connolly, very good in the 100, so good at 200. Hull's arguably the favourite from lane 3 from what we saw, because the New Zealand record went there. She was under the old one herself.
Yeah, no, Hulls is definitely probably the favourite going into this race, but there is a lot of Aussie talent around her.
Masters will be good as well. So she's 2 from the outside. We're about to go. So from the outside, Andrew, Masters quickly gets up to her. Day's out well. Connolly tries to get up to Day. Lewis a little way behind them. Hull's back at the moment, up to halfway. Connolly leads into the stretch from Day. Masters out wide. Lewis coming home hard, and then Edwards on the inside. Connolly just leads. Lewis can't quite get up to her. Connolly and Lewis, it's close. Connolly wins from Lewis, and I reckon Edwards might have got third. In a time of around about 23.3. It just was a really good battle all the way up the stretch.
It was a fabulous battle between Connolly and Lewis. They have run the 100 metres, so it's their second warm-up for the evening. They would be a little bit fatigued. I thought Connolly and Lewis were the ones who had the best bends, and so they were the ones who really took it to the field. Hulls struggled a little bit around that bend, but it was good to see Connolly with her 400 strength coming through at the back end. Let's watch it again.
So they're running into a pretty strong headwind here of 1.5 metres.
You can see Brie Masters got away really well, and she comes off with those high knee action. It was Masters, Connolly, and Lewis was a little bit back. Hulls was well back, and she had probably had some fatigue from that New Zealand race. But look at Connolly really working those arms. You can see the stride length starting to shorten. She was getting tired, but Tori, you forget how young she is at 18 years of age. She's able to throw those legs out. She has run a 400 this season in a personal best, and I think that really helped her late here.
So Edwards has a good run. Riley Day getting the cobwebs out tonight, that's for sure and certain. So into that headwind. So the high jump continues, and one of the big stars of the night is on the runway now.
So the height of the bar is at 187 before Ollie Schlagers goes. In fact, she has cleared that 187. Just Emily Whelan remaining in the competition. So the bar up to 190, and Ollie Schlagers crowd, just 100-metre race to go, the men's 100 to come. The crowd are all going to assemble on that top bend for Nicola as the bar goes up. So here she goes, 190. Good clearance, strong jumping, she's in good form. Of course, missed the Commonwealth Games with that calf problem after the World Championships. It was a thrill in Oregon with Eleanor winning the gold and Nicola finishing in 5th.
And there's a gap here, Dave, again, isn't there? There's a gap between her and the bar. So, Dave, for those that don't know, does she make the next selection?
If she's the only one in the competition, she can decide. But we've still got one other jumper, and we're just going to go back in time a fraction in just a moment as the notes get written down. That was a pretty good jump, I think. Happy with the run-up. Remember to smile, that's what she's written. This was a moment ago, before Nicola's jump. Her training partner, Emily Whelan, at a personal best height. She goes clear, and look at Nicola in the background celebrating that. The training partners. So 1 centimetre added to the personal best for Emily Whelan, clear at 187. I love her little approach just before she goes. There's a whole range of methods you can use to elevate yourself into the air. Tamsin, I reckon you would love a little throw like that. The little tassels on it and everything. Magnificent.
If it made me jump that high, I'd do whatever Nicola's doing.
190. Second attempt for Whelan in the high jump. Might be getting a fraction tired. Has had a lot of jumping. Came in at 172. And then cleared that 187 on her 3rd attempt.
So the results of the 200 metres, look at that headwind. So it does slow them down. Connolly over Lewis. It was close. It was a great battle all the way up the straight at 23.2 and 23.31. Kirsty was at 23.49. That's a strong run by her. And then Brie Masters, who had a great first 100. And Georgia Howes after the sensational run on the weekend. The Cara Starling's run well. just outside her personal best, just 5 100ths outside her personal best.
Didn't get the time to mention that that's Tanya Van Heer's junior record in South Australia, the mother of Aidan Murphy. And of course, she was our last 100-metre individual medalist at the Commonwealth Games. What a beautiful mover Tanya Van Heer was.
She was in Adelaide, Dave. She had a good chat to her, and Aidan's run really well, I thought, tonight.
Yep.
But it's good to see these young names, and like the men's 100 that we saw in Adelaide, Bruce, I love the fact that these athletes are racing against each other. I know we go back in time quite a bit, but it was the reason why you against Lauren Hewitt as a junior, and Kathy and Melinda and Lauren and Tanya Van Heer, and they raced against each other, and they raced a lot.
Boyle and Boyd, in those old days. The day of men's long jump, going to have a bit of a catch-up here.
Okay, well, I'm up and about this. Men's long jump time. Darcy Roper on the runway. He's had some troubles with the hamstrings. The Queenslander, 8:20 is his lifetime best. 7:77 he bounced out in the opening round. And that's a huge jump if it's behind the front of the board. Close to the 8-metre mark. Chris Matreski, coached by my old coach, John Boas, 8:21 man, world champ, an Olympic Commonwealth Games representative. And after an 8:01, he launched it out to 8:16. A bit unlucky, 3.9, tailwind. Where did that come from? So Chris Matreski, just his second comp of the season. How about Jalen Rucker? Remember Derek Rucker in the NBL? This is his son.
Yeah.
The 26-year-old, coached by Gary Bourne. Why would you play basketball when you can do the long jump?
No idea.
Where do you want us to start?
He's a 7'88" man, former pole vaulter. Jalen Rucker, great to see him.
So the 100 metres, Dave, can I interrupt for one moment? The 100 metres, and it is a fantastic lineup with two really powerful New Zealanders. We've already seen New Zealand Quinella race tonight, the 100. So a few coming back, Browning and Doran and Despard, and a young man in lane number 9 who has really set the Australian scene alight. But it's the flying mullet to put his reputation on the line against a bloke who's just as glamorous as him, I reckon, on his inside and outside. A bit of showtime, Dave.
Well, you would know, Bruce, about glamour. It's not my normal situation, although I did think Maurie's shirt came up with the amount of messages I'm getting on that have been tremendous. What a night we've had. Hope you've enjoyed it.
There you go, Dave. Back
to the long jump. Should mention Jalen Rucker. If that jump was legal, 7.93, it will be a personal best for him. Liam Adcock, 7.74 so far in the long jump. Height of the bar is up to 1.93 as Whelan is about to... Nolly Schlager still alive.
There he is, Bruce Welton, born in South Africa, so also a model.
He's such an imposing figure. So here's David to take us through the runners in the men's 100 metres.
Ladies and gentlemen, final event on the track tonight is the men's 100 metres. Here is your field. In lane 2, 6th fastest Australian of all time with a personal best of 10.12 from Tasmania, Jack Hale. In fact, let me go back a lane. I'm sorry. In lane 1, World Junior Championship semi-finalist from New South Wales, Connor Bond. Sorry, Connor. There you are. Thumbs up. Jack Hale's in 2. In lane 3, Commonwealth Games relay representative from New South Wales, Josh Azzopardi. In lane 4, 3 times he's run his personal best of 10.18, the New Zealand under-20 champion, Tian Welton. In lane 5, Commonwealth Games finalist, Olympic semi-finalist, number 2 Australian of all time, second in the 200 tonight, Rowan Browning. In lane 6, the New Zealand record holder with a personal best of 10.08, 6-time national champion from New Zealand, Eddie Osai Nakisha. In lane 7, reigning Australian 100-metre champion with a personal best of 10.15 from Queensland, Jake Doran. In lane 8, Commonwealth Games relay representative and 2018 stall gift winner, 5th in the 200 tonight from Tasmania, Jacob Despard. And in lane 9, Australian under 18 100-metre record holder, just 17 years of age, from New South Wales, Sebastian Sultana. Final event on the track, Bruce. It's the men's dash.
It's got a lovely ring to it, hasn't it? I wonder where Fred is right now, the world champion, looking on. What sort of a show can this group do? So the Aussies, half a dozen of them and a couple of Kiwis.
Well, Rowan Browning, it's good to see him backing up after the 200 metres, the flying mullet. But Osain Nikisha, who's just signed with Uni of Hawaii, is going to be tough to beat.
Should be a great race. What a night we've had. Browning smack bang in the middle. Away, got out pretty well, Browning. Oh, what's happened here? So we headed in the 200. Where do you reckon, Tamsin? What do you think?
Well, I'm not quite sure, but I'm hoping we get the green card again and it wasn't out wide. Hopefully it's an unsteady, because everyone in this field we want to see run. We want to get a time from them, because there's a lot of stories within this 100 metres and there's a lot of quality. So fingers crossed, it's just an unsteady. It looks like.
And a lot to gain tonight with a good performance, isn't it? There's a continental world, so back they go. And I think at the moment we're about to find out. But so past at 193. Nicola, here she is, Dave.
In fact, this is 193, height of the bar. First attempt for McDermott, over. In fact, that was the second attempt. So missed the first, clear at the second at 193.
Gave you the wrong info. So going well at 193, Ollie Schlagers. So what's happened here?
So I'm pretty sure the field's been shown the green card and all runners will be back for the second try.
It's what we wanted, wasn't it? So fantastic lineup.
Yep.
This is an Australian final, isn't it? With some gravy, with Welpton,
yep.
Osain Nikisha, who's been such a big part of our series over the years. So for Browning and Doran and Despard, they've had a couple of these tonight, haven't they? Here we go. Clean this time. Browning got away well. Welcome right up with him. Osain Nikisha has Rowan got the speed at halfway. Osain Nikisha and Browning is going to be close. Browning! Yes! The flying mullet wins by a whisker from Osain Nikisha and Welcome. It was some race, and he had to dig deep.
He did. He had to dig very deep. That was an interesting race to watch. There was a lot of surging in 100 metres, which you're not meant to do. It's meant to be a lot smoother than that. But it's early season. They'll be finding their form. What was really fantastic about Rowan Browning's race was when Eddie Nikisha got to him, he was able to relax, and that is such a hard thing to do in a men's 100-metre sprint when you're under pressure to relax, and that's something that Rowan will have to have worked on. He's used to running against the big athletes now, and he's showing that he now has that ability to relax under pressure, but that was a big headwind.
And it's fast. I mean, it's 10.26 into all 1.7.
So you see here, Rowan reacts really well, but almost from 10 to 20, it looks like Eddie just runs through him. There was something there that he'll probably go back with his coach, Andrew Murphy, and work on. But look at that beautiful back end, that last 30 metres. You see it here, he's 10 metres, then as he's coming up, he just lets Eddie through him. But when Eddie comes past him, there's such different techniques that they almost run into each other. But the fact that Rowan was able to relax under pressure then, he was really good in that last 30 metres. And let's not forget, he's got a 200 metres in his legs.
I think a lot of people would like to copy that shoe as we go back, Dave, after that great run into a headwind by Rowan to Nicola on the runway in the women's high jump.
196, the height of the bar in the women's high jump. Just one competitor remaining. It is the Olympic silver medalist, Nicola Ollie-Sluggers. Youngsters in the background. People everywhere clapping their hands in unison. New meet record height. Up. Tickles. Comes down. Some more attempts to come.
And this is the height that she cleared to get 5th in the World Championships, wasn't it, Dave? 196 she got over.
I'll have to take your word for it, Tamsin.
Tams
I know they went very high.
She never asks a question like that, Dave, unless she knows the answer.
Correct.
And it's been fully
yes,
researched.
that's right. That is right, Tamsin. That was the height that she finished 5th at the World Championships with, 196. Well, what 100 metres that was. You have to be good to get past Osai Nikisha because he got the biggest chest in athletics. Here's Richo down there. Might come back to Richo on that one.
Well, he looked happy, Rowan, didn't he? He looked happy with that win.
Good. No, he should be. You've got to fight hard for that. It's probably a 10-1-5, I reckon, on a stool night. 10-2-6 into a 1.5, 10-1-5, 10-1-8. But to fight hard and stay relaxed.
And stay uninjured.
Because he's going to be behind in a lot of races on the circuit. And there are the results, 10-2-6, 10-2-7. Welton was good. I liked him. Despard's improved, hasn't he? Doran, the Australian champion. Well, he's running well, but he's got some thinking as the party's made some breakthroughs. Hale, Bond came into the field, the junior. Sultana has had a bit of a season already, I think. So, you know, for him, this is all about experience as we go back to the women's high jump.
Second attempt for Nicola Olichlagers, 196. As we mentioned, Alison Inverarity is here tonight. 195 back in 1995. It's a while ago, the meet record. So this would be a new meet record if successful. Second attempt. 196. Just short. So on a warm night in Melbourne, in front of a crowd that we haven't seen in domestic athletics for some time. Seen some tremendous track racing. Fred Curley, Chris Matrevsky launched out to 8.16 in the men's long jump with a win that surprised everybody. Not sure where it came from. Plus 3.9. So fast, 10, 20, 100 metre man. Has trouble getting the foot on the board. 8.16, the best so far. Choppy stride, and that's not bad. I do see Chris a bit, and every time, stick your legs out. You're allowed to put your legs out and stretch for as long as possible, Mike Powell style.
He's got such talent, David. Just hitting the board's been the problem. So the lap of honour here. The four people that won the bronze medal for Australia at the World Cross Country in the 4x2K relay, Jess Harlan, Abby Caldwell, and then Stewie and Ollie. So on that day, Tamsin, you were calling as well. So it was Ollie to Jess to Stewie to Abby.
And how fantastic are our quartet there. They won that World Championship medal, but we've got such talent in middle distance. It's so exciting moving forward.
And we saw one of the great races tonight with Abby and Jess.
Tremendous. 7.93 was that distance for Chris Matrevsky. He takes out the long jump with that 8.16. In second place, Darcy Roper, 7.94. Good to see him back. And Jalen Rucker, 7.93. I don't have the wind on that jump, but fingers crossed it's legal and that's a personal best for him. Good jumping. So final attempt here for Nicola McDermott to round out the night here. We want to see a little bit more action. If she goes over, the bar goes up.
Just saw her husband in the background, Tamsin, didn't we?
Yeah, he was doing the dancing action as well.
New meet record height of 196, final attempt.
Oh.
Just stalling a fraction, but McDermott takes out the women's high jump. And a personal best for a training partner as well. Bruce, I've had fun. I've had a lot of fun.
It's been superb.
The band was back together. And the crowd that have come, thank you for coming along.
I think Maurie Plant would be really pleased with this turnout and the quality of athletics that was on the track tonight.
And thank you to everybody who's come to Lakeside tonight. We've seen your reactions from up here. You've loved it as much as us. It's been a fantastic night. It's the start of a new dawn in many ways, isn't it? Continental World Tour in Australia. One of 14 meets that hold this. The next one's in a couple of months in Grenada. So it really has been a night to remember. The absolute highlight, well, I'm going to go first. I think it was Hull and Cornwall up the stretch. There were plenty, but that'll do me.
I loved Fred Curley. I think the showman came to town and he delivered. It was brilliant, running down the front straight with his arm in the air. That was just fabulous to see.
Great field event action. Samantha Dahl winning that long jump in an upset, I think, with the personal best. And, well, the crowd shone in Melbourne tonight.
We shouldn't forget Cameron Myers. It was a couple of hours ago. A 16-year-old tonight ran 3:55 for the mile. It's unbelievable. And there's Rowan Browning, the flying mullet. We've got a lot of stars to talk about. Richo's done a great job down there. We hope you have enjoyed it as much as us. It's rolling this season now. It's building and building. It's been a beauty.